lunch, and Mark Van Scharrel is going to join us from the resource team to provide us an update on the annual fund.
I'm one of those people that just got busted in that presentation, I'm telling you. My team sitting next to me, they were laughing. I like to keep a list of things that I learned at Aldi, but I'll only share one. This is from Frank Anderson over there. Be careful how much body wash you use in the whirlpool. So I have 5 minutes to invite you to contribute to our annual fund, but I'm not going to ask you to give because you love Aldi or appreciate Aldi. Instead, I'm going to try to light a match to our annual fund, ignite it, if you will, by focusing on who you are, who we are, and how we are called to live, the pattern of our lives as people of God. I've been known to joke that Al Gore didn't make it to the White House because the one time he tried to quote scripture in a presidential debate, he got it backwards. He solemnly said, "Where your heart is, there will your treasure be also," reversing what Jesus said. And it's so easy to get that wrong. We're all bombarded by hundreds of messages a day that invite us to care deeply about all kinds of things that we don't need. Things that don't matter that much at the end of the day. Anthropologists, advertisers, and fitness gurus all understand that we are truly ritual people, creatures of habit. And we know, don't we, that there's truth in the saying, practice makes perfect. I want to tell you about my 5th grade Sunday school teacher. She was a seamstress at a dry cleaning store or shop. And her job was to mend clothes. She walked to church. She taught Sunday school faithfully for years. And one Sunday, she came to Sunday school with 10 $1 bills and sat down and taught us all the discipline that she had, which Thrive and helpfully, I think, summarizes as share, save, and spend. And she told us how she would share at least 10% of her income. And she would save at least 10% of her income so that when there was an emergency, a natural disaster or something else, she had capacity to respond. And then she would budget and live on the rest. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, Jesus said. And there's something deeper than law and gospel there. There's a sequence that's important. As children of the Reformation, we all have been reconnected to a deeper, broader, longer pattern. God's activity in creating and redeeming and sanctifying the world has a sequence to it. It's the indicative, then the imperative. It's in the whole Old and New Testament. God finds ways to say to us, "You are my people," before he ever says, "Be my people." I am the way, the truth, and the life. Then follow me, believe in me, abide in me. Or as children like to say, and we heard this morning, we love because God first loved us. One day I picked up James Forbes, the talented African-American preacher for years at Riverside Church, who was going to speak at the seminary. And when we got in the car from the airport, he said, "Well, what do you do?" I barely got started talking about development work, and he said, "I'm so frustrated because my wife and I have been stuck on 18%. And I just know with the salary I get paid at Riverside Church, if I was a better money manager, I could keep growing in my giving." And he understood, like Myrtle did, that growth in giving is something we want to do our whole life. I know, because I work with him personally, that Herb Shellstrom, the first bishop of the ELCA, and his wife, at this point in retirement, give over 30% of their income away. And there are people like that in all of your offices and in your donor base and out here. It's important to never be satisfied. Tithe is not the end point. It's a touchstone, a marker on the journey. St. Paul, in another time in this world where people were terrorized on a regular basis, crucified, beheaded, thrown to the lions, like our daily news today, except for maybe the lion part, spent a whole book writing to the Romans where for the whole first half of the book, all he tries to do is the indicative. You are my people. Uses technical theological words like expiation. But underneath it, righteousness of God is a gift. Saying God looks at us through the lens of grace and baptism. And then he finally gets to the second half of the book and says, so, never flag in zeal, be aglow with the Spirit, serve the Lord, rejoice in your hope, be patient in your tribulation, be constant in prayer, contribute to the needs of the saints, practice hospitality. None of that comes until he works hard, chapter after chapter, to say what God says, you are my people. So Aldi is and can be a place where we discover and rediscover our calling and our vocation. As I heard someone say last night, it's our ministry. So whether you're working on that new logo, or whether you're working on that accurate data, or whether you're writing that targeted note to a faithful donor, you're doing ministry, you're fulfilling God's calling to be my people, responding to the indicative, you are my people. So that's why I invite you to give to Aldi, because we can continue to be that kind of group for one another, reminding us of our calling. And I was reminded, like my wife reminds me, that I can't see my socks, if I sit in a lazy boy and take them off and then I get up and go about my business, that we haven't even told you how to do this yet. So at the back table down by the coffee is where the Aldi booth is. They didn't have their standard up yesterday because we were keeping the new logo secret, but that's where you go to make your gift. If you want to be a recurring donor, there's a form to fill out. There's people there where we can make credit card gifts right now, and it's an and/or if you want to give to the endowment also, then there's a green form. So let me stop with two questions. How many people here have ever received a scholarship from Aldi? Raise your hand. And how many people would ever like to make sure that we can continue to give scholarships to people so they can be part of this group? Okay, well, we're at $20,000 on our way to 30, and I think we'll get there. Thank you.